U.S. President Joe Biden has spoken with Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on the phone. The White House said that Biden and Netanyahu reviewed talks designed to secure the release of some of the Israeli hostages, coupled with an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. Now, the Israeli government has come under intense pressure from its global allies to reach a ceasefire deal, as well as from protesters within Israel demanding the release of hostages. White House said that Biden and Netanyahu also discussed increase in the delivery of humanitarian aid into Gaza. This includes preparations to open new northern crossings starting this week. This comes as the U.S. Central Command and the Royal Jordanian Air Force conducted a combined humanitarian assistance airdrop into northern Gaza. According to CENTCOM, the U.S. C-130s dropped over 25,000 ready-to-eat meals in northern Gaza. Additionally, more than 13,000 meal equivalents of Jordanian food supplies were delivered. Meanwhile, World Central Kitchen said it would resume operations in the Gaza Strip today. This a month after 7 workers of the US-based charity were killed in an Israeli airstrike. Biden, in his call with Netanyahu, reiterated his clear position on any Israeli assault on the southern Gaza city of Rafah. Netanyahu has vowed to send troops into Rafah, where more than 1.5 million civilians have taken refuge. This comes as Israeli airstrikes on 3 houses in southern Gaza city of Rafah killed 13 people and wounded many others. Hamas media outlets put the death toll at 15. Meanwhile, Hamas said it had no major issues after reviewing Israel's latest proposal for a long-sought truce and hostage release deal in the Gaza Strip. Egypt, Qatar and the United States are trying to mediate a new truce for months now. A senior Hamas official said that a delegation will arrive in Egypt today to deliver the group's response to Israel's counter-proposal. On the other hand, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will expand his trip to West Asia and continue on to Jordan and Israel after visiting Saudi Arabia. State Department says that Blinken will work on ceasefire efforts, but added that it is Hamas that is standing between the Palestinian people and a ceasefire.
That's going to be right at the top of the list for Secretary Blinken, to keep pushing for this temporary ceasefire. We want it to last for about 6 weeks. It would allow for all those hostages to get out, and of course to allow for easier aid access to places in Gaza, particularly up in the north.
For more on this, we were earlier joined by retired Colonel David B. Desroches, professor near East-South Asia Center for Strategic Studies, National Defense University. Let's listen in to what he had to say.
It's a very common view in the Middle East and in the Arab world that the United States can kind of turn Israel on and off like a tap if we choose to. But I think that's mistaken. If you look, there's a long history of a lack of ability to influence our partners and allies that goes back decades, particularly when they feel their security interest is at play. I think Netanyahu's position is that the American position is of interest. It's certainly worth listening to. It's probably worth exploring. But at the end of the day, President Biden is not responsible for the security of Israel. Prime Minister Netanyahu is. And I think that his view is the one that will prevail. And I think his view is that Hamas has to be destroyed as a military organization, which will require an invasion of Rafah. And I think the only thing holding him up is I think he will listen to the United States and say, okay, let's see if this diplomatic process will run its course. But I don't think he expects a positive outcome.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.